up, YouTube? Getting ready for the spring ATVM Ride and Roast Rally up in Isle, Minnesota. The wife and I are going kid-free this trip, just to let the kid visit grandma. And then wife and I, instead of staying in the RV, we're going to stay in the hotel. Little jacuzzi tub. It'll be kind of nice. I've been using it out on the range and to get out 400, 500, 600 yards. And so it's a little muddy. Mud doesn't bother it, but the cargo area doesn't have my stuff in it. So it's kind of a bit of a mess right here. But we're going to sort through it, clean this thing up a little bit, make sure this ATV and my wife's are ready to roll. I have a 2018 Yamaha Grizzly 700, and I've got the front Yamaha box for storage. I haven't fully decided if I like it or not. This is my second year riding with it. I don't like it as much as I liked the built-in cargo box on the front of my 2011 Polaris. I guess it wasn't built in, it was an optional piece. So this one, it's bigger, bulkier. It blocks the headlight. It's quite a bit taller.
It's huge.
You're going to be on YouTube.
Cool.
Say hi, YouTube.
Hi.
Right.
I got the biggest glass I could find.
You're getting your socks on just fine.
I know. It's hard though.
Okay. Thanks. So far it's good. Oh, one thing I don't like is it blocks this higher headlight. I have put some pretty decent LED lights here. Looks like this one needs to be tightened up a bit. They do provide quite a bit additional light. I've just got them on a rocker switch here. So those are still working. I just had this whole machine. I don't think I've posted the video. Shut off on me. Don't know why. As I was saying, over the winter I had this entire machine front end apart so that I could get to the radiator. We thought it was going to be a good time to dive in and out of these sandy, liquidy holes last summer, and all it ended up doing is plugging up my radiator. So I had to remove the entire radiator from the machine. I'll try to get that video edited. I should have had that edited long ago. And we're probably going to have to do the same thing to the wife's bike. It is what it is. So, meanwhile, I've got this. It does tend to hold everything. I haven't had too many problems with things getting wet unless I absolutely bury the machine in the water. You might be able to notice holes in here, over in here, down here, and whatnot. If it did get wet, this drain here didn't do much good because it's in this little compartment. And it allowed everything to drain down to here, but there's still water here, still water over here, yada yada. So I ended up drilling a few holes. I don't get a lot of water infiltration from the holes, but they do allow it to drain a little bit more sufficiently. Overall, it's not a bad box. So I'll show you what I pack in my ATV and maybe explain why I pack it. So I'm sorting through the stuff that is on my ATV, normally kept in the storage box on the front. That includes some basic camping survival type gear, a first aid kit, a saw, a hatchet, some bug spray, and some kind of self-recovery items that come in handy out on the trail. I'll go through each one of those things individually. Curious what you guys think about what I'm carrying on my ATV and what I'm not carrying. So the first thing I am carrying is a tow strap. This is just a cheap one. It doesn't have to be super heavy duty. We're just pulling an ATV out. This is a small car. I think this one's rated for, I want to say 6,000 pounds or so. You also have to factor in when you buy a tow strap that you're not just pulling the ATV, you're also pulling the friction that ATV is providing when you pull it out of a mud hole or a ditch or something. So it's not just the weight of the machine and the weight of the rider you need to consider. Got a couple of shackles here. These just come in handy if you're joining a couple of tow straps together. You got to hook it onto the machine somewhere. If you're going to wrap this around a tree, you'll use one of these to tie the ends together. It's not ever recommended that you feed the two ends together because that can actually tighten so hard against the tree it'll either, one, kill the tree, or two, you won't be able to get it untied. We also have one of these for the winches to double our force, but we've never used them because our shackles are too big, so I have to buy some smaller shackles for these. The number one best thing that we have ever brought with us four-wheeling is a blackjack kit. I cannot tell you how many times we've gotten a hole in a tire out on a trail, or even on the side of a road in western Wisconsin, northern Minnesota, where we've been able to pull over, pop a patch. In one case we had a small cut about that big, and I put about 5 patches in there, and to this day that tire is still holding air. So this thing has been invaluable in keeping us on the trail. Coupled with this, obviously, is an air compressor. I got this one at Northern Tool. I think I spent $30 on it about 6 years ago. That thing will inflate your trailer tires. It will also inflate your ATV tires. This is a low pressure tire gauge that we carry with us. This one actually doesn't work anymore. We've got to pick up another one. There's no way to change the battery in this thing, but I think it was $10 at an O'Reilly Auto Parts. So we got the hose. We've got a low pressure tire gauge. This thing maxes out, I think, at 16 psi. Most of your ATV tires, you're only filling to 6 to 8 pounds of pressure anyway. We typically keep ours between 6 and 7. This is just a little accessory kit. We've never needed to use these parts, but if we needed to blow up a soccer ball or something else like that, we have the ability to do that. And then this all fits kind of neatly into this thing here. I didn't comment on it before, but this bag back here just has another set of these components. We actually keep this in my wife's ATV. It keeps it together. She's got a bigger cargo box, rear seat kind of a deal, and so this just helps hold everything together. These right now today sit pretty loose inside my ATV, but works all right. Moving further to the right here, another piece we needed once and didn't have was a siphon kit. After one of my buddies ran out of fuel, I had enough fuel in my ATV. If we had had a siphon kit or even some hose, we could have put a little bit into his machine to make it the last 3 miles back to a gas station. I purchased this. It was another Amazon special. I think it's about $9 worth. Haven't had to use it yet, but it's kind of nice knowing that it is there if we need it. Kind of moving beyond self-recovery or just recovery, get into camping and survival stuff here a little bit. Obviously, bug spray. We've got a few different types. I tend to like these dry type sprays better than these oily ones, but when you're out deep in the woods, anything helps. What I don't have here is our sunscreen. I did not leave that in my ATV, but we do carry usually a couple of things of sunscreen in both of our ATVs just in case we run out or don't have one ATV or the other. First aid kit. We have used this. We've used a couple of bandages. I need to stock some additional bandages in here. This has got some various assorted things. These are obviously no good anymore, so I need to replace those pills. But they come with these containers. You can see this thing's been beat up a little bit. There's some cracks in there. Maybe you can't, yeah. So this thing has seen some lively use. The end there is all mashed up from banging around. Hopefully we never need to use the serious stuff in here. I hate this saw. My wife doesn't mind it. I hate it. It is difficult to use. I don't feel it's safe. This, if I can do it one-handed here, this has a tendency to open, and it's really easy to get a finger stuck in there. And then this thing comes clamping down. Well, it doesn't clamp down exactly, but it's not the most safe saw out there, and it doesn't work real well anyway. Those teeth tend to get clogged up pretty easily. Agawa Canyon saws are something I saw on another YouTuber's channel named Maritimer up in Canada, and I did another video on these. I'll post a little link up there or there. I don't know which side it'll be on. I haven't really used these yet. Looking forward to using them this summer. And then a hatchet. This thing has been another invaluable tool. When we notice trees down on trails and things, we tend to stop and cut those up, get them off of the trail so that other riders can enjoy. been really handy having that. There's some bigger stuff that a saw like this would be more ideal for. These are also real good for campfire wood when you're out with the RV, or just, you know, kind of roughing it out in the woods. Tied in with this little fire starter here, this allows us to build fire. I am missing my lighter. I've got a refillable butane lighter. It might be in my pickup truck, but I will find that and have that when I load all this stuff back up as well. The last thing I also carry with me, I carry it not just when I'm four-wheeling, but I always make sure I have it when I am four-wheeling, and that is my Glock. I always keep a pistol. We do encounter bears in northern Minnesota. We have never had a problem with one, but when we're camping and things, it's nice to be able to have that with us. Enough said about that. Now that this is all packed up, this is kind of what we've got. I tend to keep the stuff that I need less frequently at the bottom for obvious reasons. Now we don't need this. I do try to keep this close to the top or accessible. This section here, I don't see if you can see how deep that is, but it's about, I don't know, 4 inches deep here, maybe 5. And I usually keep a sweatshirt, a pair of gloves depending on the weather, a hat, food for the day. We've got some additional rustic cooking type things that we're going to be bringing with us this year. I don't have available right now to show, but over here, bug spray, a plethora of bug spray, and then the air compressor, the shackles, the toe strap is down here, my hatchet and my bow saw, and then just try to keep that clean and tidy as best I can. So this is usually just kept for all my personal gear. I've purchased but haven't yet decided if I'm going to mount to my ATV this quad case back here. We bought it at Dennis Kirk up in Cambridge, Minnesota, North Branch maybe? I can't remember. Rush City. And we were looking for one because our daughter's friend likes coming with us, and we had one of those soft packs last year. If you watched the birthday video for Taylor's birthday a couple weeks ago, that kind of demonstrated that there's no real support behind the person, and so we wanted to get something that had some nice cushioning and had some real actual support. What we found really interesting about this one is this includes an additional piece, and we'll see if I can keep my mail out of this. This piece here actually sits down inside the centerpiece. So it becomes potentially, this is really hard to do one-handed. Wish I had a tripod for this thing. So if one wanted, I could piece this together. What I find, as you've seen, I'm a little heavier guy, a lot heavier guy. And this piece tends to, and I'll set this on top of the machine here in a moment, kind of dig into my butt sits back here a little ways, and this piece can't really be removed very easily. It might be kind of nice to have an extra backrest, but most notably, you got a lot of extra storage in here. So on the days where you don't have a passenger, this gives you an extra storage option. So you gain the storage on both sides, and you gain this storage here. This comes off for an extra passenger, and now you can carry your kid's friend or whatever along.